So our top eight teams for the 2025 Premiership are locked away. Just exactly how they'll finish, well, it'll come down to tomorrow. But the Roosters, they secure their place in finals for the 9th straight season, the 12th time in 13 seasons for their coach, Trent Robinson. They came into this matchup against their bitter rivals needing to win, or it was curtains for them. And they ran away with it. 26 unanswered points in the second half to set up a date with either the Sharks or the Warriors in week 1 of the finals. James Graham, Cooper Cronk and Kevin Walters as the Tricolours celebrate. Kevy, what did you think of the fashion in which they got the job done tonight?
Yeah, professional second half from the Roosters. Their ball control obviously got a little bit better and the tries flowed and the points flowed. They're a dangerous football side. If they can get on top of their ball control, I know they've had some troubles in defence as well, but tonight they were very good against the South Sydney side, only conceding the 1 try, and that was in the first half. So they held their team to 0 in the second half, which was good. They'd be happy with that performance. They'll need to go a little bit better next week if they're whoever they're playing to get the win, but they'd be happy. They're in finals and they've found their form at the right time of the year as well.
Yeah, 2 second-half dominant displays back-to-back weeks for the Sydney Roosters, and they are in red-hot form, winning 5 of their last 6 games, hitting form at exactly the right time. And you know, with the Warriors or Sharks around the corner, I think the Roosters will sit in that dressing room tonight with Coach Robinson and congratulate their younger players, especially their leaders in Tedesco, the development of Nawaqanitawase White becoming one of the premium middle forwards in the competition. And we'll look around and look, it's 1 week at a time, but whether it's a trip across the Tasman or down to Shark Park at Sydney, I think they will be full of confidence going into that contest.
It was a wholehearted performance from South Sydney, but it was obvious that they didn't have the class to match what the Roosters had at different stages. South Sydney were gallant, but when it came to the crunch moments, Tedesco with 4 try assists was brilliant. Mark Nawaqanitawase with another 3 tries, leading try scorer in the NRL. Then Sam Walker, Savala combined well at different stages. The only thing that the Roosters really need to fix quickly, it's a thing that's troubled them for a long time, is their completion rate. Just way too many errors allowed South Sydney around the rim at different stages. So if they're going to play the Sharks or the Warriors next week, depending on who it is, they've got the firepower, they can score points, they're a good defensive team, but if you just give the opposition a few more chances than you should in finals, it might just come back to bite you.
There was a game against the Bulldogs a couple of weeks ago, Coops, and that's the area that they really fixed up, and through that we know the class even without high completion rate, and we know their ability to score points even when that it isn't where it should be and isn't where they're aiming to be. But when they got it right that game against the Bulldogs, they look so dominant. They'll be a threat come finals time. I know it's a week at a time, but they've got some big scalps in that 5 wins from those 6 games. They took some big scalps, the Dogs included, and the Melbourne Storm as well.
Yeah, you talk about all the ingredients it takes to play on grand final day. Like, they're physical, they're a good defensive team, their attack can rattle the opposition, but it's the completion rate. They get that together. I think everything else is going to go well for the Sydney Roosters, but the ladder is starting to take shape now. The only thing that can change is whether the Penrith win tomorrow, and that changes the Roosters and the Panthers' position. So the top 6 is set. Penrith, will they rest their players? But the Roosters did their job. They won against their arch rivals. They get into 7th spot. It's just a matter of what Penrith do tomorrow.
On the live ladder, they sit 7th. Kevy, this season, the highest the Roosters sat was in round 16. They sat 6th. But throughout the year, they have been battling in terms of in and around the top 8. They've had setbacks. We know they started the season without their halfback. Sam Walker played much of it without him. They had Brandon Smith not playing at the beginning of the year, then he leaves. So this is quite an achievement for them, but they held firm that once they got their halfback back on the field, that things would take shape.
Well, he did sort of give some confidence, or whatever he gave to the Roosters. They started to find their mojo through that period. And if you look back to last year, they got some injuries to key players right around this time. So this is a different looking Roosters outfit for the finals this year. I'm sure they can, well, they'd have high hopes, I would have thought, Cooper, of going deep into September with this side if they can stay healthy and stay well. There's some teams in the bottom half of the 8 that are, even the top 4 teams are looking over their shoulder thinking, well, when are we going to play these guys? Because they can be a threat for sure.
Yeah, I think Tedesco's been the rock. He's been absolutely rock solid all year. Sam Walker coming back into the side has added that spark at the right time of the year. But I think a lot of credit needs to go to like Egan Butcher, Blake Steep, Siwa Wong, Nafahu White, those middle forwards who probably didn't expect to play as much football but have put 20-odd games together and are now getting a lot of confidence they can mix it with whatever the opposition throws at them. So I think Tedesco deserves a lot of accolades, but the bottom part of the Roosters team has really lifted, and I think that's accelerated.
It is amazing what back-to-back NRL games and the advancement in the season as it goes on. When we cast our minds back to the beginning of the year, it was labelled a rebuild year for the Sydney Roosters. They denied that narrative. Round one comes along and the Broncos ran through them, and we thought, well, maybe it is going to be quite the difficult year, the transition year, and we'll see the fruits next year. And obviously they made some moves in the market as well, but I think it's a lot of similarities to the Penrith Panthers' younger players. Getting that real-life experience, learning on the go, has now put both of those two teams in strong positions come September. I think a lot of those younger forwards have had to step into the shoes and take responsibility for their forwards. Like Nafahu White, when Jared left, it left a huge hole in so many areas, not just the 80 minutes that we all witnessed, but all the things around training, about standards, around physicality, about what it means to be a forward member of this football club. That takes time to adapt.
Add to that Luke Keary, Joey Manu, Joseph Suaalii. So it was, in essence, they had some big names to replace.
And add to those young forwards. Put Rob Toure and Mark Nawaqanitawase in that category too. Both guys are young. Mark coming from rugby, Toya making his debut, playing Origin. Those guys have also made a big impact on the Roosters at the back end of the season.
Billy Smith didn't play a lot of football last year either.
He's been in and out with injury, and he's been consistent last half year.
Yeah, he's a lot better with his football. So right through their list, 1 to 17, they can all have an impact on the game. They've got international players there. They've got, top 3 players in their positions in the game as well. Tedesco certainly, Nawaqanitawase is in that space. Sam Walker's improving all the time. Spencer Leniu this year has certainly got some more minutes in him as far as on the field, and then what he does, his volume of work that he does on the field seems to have improved a little bit as well. So some big improvement. And then you throw in Angus Crichton, Victor Radley, they're all world-class players.
I was going to say, just with Sam Walker coming back, made such a difference with the try assists, but you've got to give credit to people like Hugo Savala that has really excelled this year. And when you think he's in a position, young halfback, we know the external noise around the acquisition or the potential acquisition of Daly Cherry Evans. Well, that breaks a lot of young players. It really does. But I think credit needs to go to him, Sandon Smith, who didn't play tonight, on how they've navigated that difficult period, knowing that you're likely giving up this jersey next year for somebody else.
Well, our KFC FLG MVP, as voted for by the fans, and it goes to the Roosters' inspirational skipper, James Tedesco, rounding out the season. 23 games of all blood, sweat and tears for this club, and no signs of showing any fatigue either, Cooper.
32 years of age, already won a Dalian and won competitions, played for his country and state. I think 2025 has been individually his best year. I think he better get ready, put his suit on to win another Dalian medal at the back end of the year. Tonight, his numbers were astronomical, actually. Run metres, line breaks, tackle busts, you could just put another page of stats on that. He was tremendous. And just some of the confidence. Some players just sort of die with the ball. James comes up with plays like this that not too many other players have the confidence to or the skill. He was terrific.
He's really blossomed into that role and taking that responsibility. I feel we spoke about the experience that left and moved on. I think he's grown into that role and really relished, teaching these young players. Mark Nawaqanitawase, at the beginning of the year, it was, okay, there's a talent there. He played a handful of games, his centre, wing, his best position. We weren't quite sure. I don't think the Roosters were quite sure. But I think, again, that combination that he has with him, just knowing, well, I've got someone that can pull the rabbit out of the hat here. So, I better give him the ball, but also I better be ready just in case he decides to do the old 1-2 back to me as well.
The rabbit's pretty good. When he pulls that rabbit out of the hat, it's very good.
Is he one of the best things that's happened to rugby league this year? It's hard to argue.
It's David Copperfield at times, isn't it? Like,
yeah, he's a real excitement machine. And just his size as well. I mean, he'd be 105, 106 kilos, probably a little bit heavier. And so his carries back are, you know, out of yardage, his carries. I mean, we saw all the flashy stuff from him, but his carries back, you know, when you need a good, strong carry from an outside back, he's there. He's putting his hand up. So his work ethic's good. Look at his aerial skills, and that's.
Have you had much to do with him, Cooper, in how he's picked up the game in the past 18
I've taught him
months?
everything he's... that flick pass, we've really worked on it. The jumping over guys, like that's sort of my art type stuff. I made a career out of that. I needed a step ladder to do that kind of stuff. But the one thing I love about Mark is just the pure athleticism. Like, he has got skills that not too many other players have. And the fact that Sam Walker on last play can sit, or Hugo Savala, and sit and go, do I go to Daniel Tupou or do I go to Mark? And that could be the difference in a big game.
Yeah,
you know, just getting the ball in the right spot at the back end of a set with those two threats, the way that the game is, you can see that the opposition defending wingers are nervous of what to do. Do I jump up? Do I sit and wait? And if you're a half that gets the ball on the try line or in the end goal, you can't just sit and wait. So I think that might be a key play for those teams in the back end of the year.
And obviously attacking on try line is very difficult with the ability to give six gains, and we know the match officials are under pressure not to blow too many. So, you know, creating opportunities on try line, believe it or not, it can be quite difficult, especially against really good defences. And it often comes down to that last play. And when you've got two big guys like that, that is a genuine strike weapon, because, like I say, it can be so difficult to break down strong defences, especially on try line. It's almost the easiest place to defend if you've got an excellent system.
Well, the Sharks and the Warriors don't know if they're playing the Roosters yet, but they'll probably want to clip up our Jim Beam assist of the day already and try and figure out how they're going to shut down this play. Sam Walker and his crossfield kick for Mark Nawaqanitawase. It's come off time and time again, and it's proving very difficult to stop.
Yeah, like I said, that reminds me of Kevin Walters jumping in the air with his athleticism.
Off a trampoline.
When the ball goes up, Sam Walker didn't hesitate, because if the play unfolds, like, there was a bit of chaos down that left-hand side. As soon as it came to Sam, I loved that he didn't hesitate, because normally he'd chip and chase for himself. He knew he had Mark out there on Alex Johnston. Alex Johnston is a serious winger. He's an experienced campaigner, and he didn't know what to do. Do I back off? Do I jump? Do I knock the ball out? And he jumped up, and Mark just had the height. He catches the ball at a highest point that no one else can. So that is a threat in September. Yeah.